Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm, a podcast for film fans just like you. With me, as always, is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and movie insider, Protolexis.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Can we get a video of Jim Cameron accepting the Oscar,
All I know is your whole house is awake right now.
That was insane. So anywho, every episode is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's Foggust. Movies where the fog of nostalgia might cloud our memories, and now I want to see if that movie still holds up. So Danny's pick this week is Hook from 1991, and you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to that discussion. Right now, there's a civil war in our Discord as to whether or not this movie is any good. Proto wrote in his review, love spotlight and a little Proto review.
Oh, gosh.
Quote, another Foggust pick, another week of attempted child murder, end quote. Just to reiterate again from our Zodiac episode, we're against murder.
Yeah.
More on that next. The Hook episode is finally happening. The art's already out. Danny dropped the art early in our Discord this week.
Had to.
Gorgeous.
Had to get it off my plate.
Yeah. You got a busy
Could be
week.
a book cover.
Should we do a hook book?
Hook book. Hashtag hook book.
Cook hook book.
I'm not sure how that would sell necessarily. I was gonna say you were busy this week. Did you watch anything this week?
Watched nothing this week.
You watched nothing this week.
Not one movie.
Your letterbox is like a tumbleweed
Yeah.
flying through.
I kind of felt bad.
Off.
Sometimes you just need a break.
Take a week off.
It's true. Recharge.
Did you even watch like anything on YouTube or anything? Like TV?
Yeah, I talked in the pre-show. I watched the very first episode of the Wonderful World of Disney from October 1954.
What?
And I just, I have a thing for theme parks, and I just wanted to watch a couple of these old episodes. And it's the Disneyland episode where they're announcing Disneyland. Walt's walking through his offices and the maps, and this is what we're building, and talks about each thematic land. And I was joking because he goes through like Frontierland and talks about like Davy Crockett, and they show a clip from like the old Disney Davy Crockett episodes, and talks about Tomorrowland. And he talks about Fantasyland. He's like, Fantasyland is it's a great storytellers like Uncle Remus. And I watched like 15 minutes of Song of the South, and I was beside myself watching this. I had never in my life seen this much Song of the South because it's a band movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to throw up. But,
they don't even have that on like Disney Plus, do they? Like those old episodes, not the movie, but like that episode.
Wonderful World. I'm surprised they don't. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Because it goes from Walt to Eisner. Eisner did the hosting for A Wonderful World for a while after that. I would enjoy it if they did. But the thing is, a lot of that programming was the movies. So there's like 20,000 Leagues would have been shown during the Wonderful World of Disney and stuff like that. So the stuff might already be on Disney Plus as a movie form. But I wish they would just put up the stuff of like Walt having conversations about building the parks. And there's some episodes like hosted by Donny Osmond where they do like the behind the scenes of the Haunted Mansion and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff I wish they'd put on Disney Plus. That's really more interesting. Date nights at Disneyland and holidays at Disneyland from like the 60s. I would love to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Imagine like all the like high def footage they have. They're just sitting on in archives that would be amazing just to like put out in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I'm watching a 280p black and white image video that I've found.
I remember, I think I've seen some of those clips. I just remember loving how Walt's office looked. I don't know, like those big rooms that they like are reviewing, blueprints and stuff. Like that office looks awesome.
Yeah, wet Imagineering. Those rooms look amazing. But his office is like preserved. You can, if you're lucky enough, you can get a tour of it at Disney not at Disney, but their offices in Burbank.
Pardo, when are you going to Disney for the first time?
I know.
Have we settled this yet?
God.
You doing the crow, the rooster, at
Can you
the
imagine?
front entrance of Epcot or something?
Me and the wax sculpture of Robin Williams as Peter Banning, doing it right in front of him.
I was going to ask, because I knew that you didn't watch anything. That was a trick question. I looked at your letterbox. I was going to ask if either three of us are excited for Ahsoka to drop. Because I think it comes out, Tuesday?
Is it this week already?
Tuesday, 2 episodes are dropping. It's big. Big.
I'm excited. I'm gonna, give it the chance that it deserves.
Open arms.
Right? Rebels.
Open arms.
My Rebels are in it.
Open minds.
So we'll see.
I shudder every time I see a thumbnail of this TV show that I'll be forced to watch.
Just for new listeners, we're staunch Rebels, Clone Wars fans, mega fans. Mega super fans. But me personally, I would have loved another Rebels season to continue this story. But I guess I just have to take what I can get.
Yeah.
Where's Ezra? Everyone's asking, where's Ezra?
That is, if anyone gets that joke that's listening, you can get a free year of Letterboxd picture. Caramba. So what did you watch, Pardo, this week? Did you complete, is the AFI journey you're on complete? Is it complete? Finally.
No. I did watch a movie from that list. This is a low movie watching week for me as well. But one of the reasons was Jenna and I, we got back on the Righteous Gemstones train.
My.
Let her down.
Have either of you watched season 3?
What was is this now season 3?
Yeah, it's season 3.
I watched season 2.
Watch season 2.
Season 2 was like kind of a dud, and Amanda and I, we passively checked out of that show after season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I thought season 2 was a dud. I think I watched the whole thing, and I was disappointed from it. So when season 3 came out, I was like, I'm not going to watch it. So Jenna, she started watching it. I think she watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then she asked me if I wanted to jump on. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll watch one with you. And I kind of was like really into it. And then I watched the rest of the season. I watched like the final 5 episodes or whatever.
My God.
Yeah, we watched it this week, and I had a great time. I thought it was kind of back to formula of season 1. So I'm back on the Gemstones train.
Can't believe what I'm hearing.
It had they keep adding to the cast of this show. Steve Zahn is in this season.
Does he get naked?
Not yet.
Does he show his twig and biscuits like he did in White Lotus?
Oh man, the state of his biscuits. I mean,
Letting it all hang out. I'm just saying.
I could see it in my mind's eye. But
I'm taking my glasses off. Can't breathe.
Paul just posted the photo of the kid dressed up as a pirate book. Perfect timing.
But yeah, so I enjoyed the final season or the last season of Gemstones. They got something cooking once again. But I did watch one movie at least. What did I watch? Oh, from the AFI Journey, I watched The Wild Bunch, which is a Western from 1969. And this is a movie that I've heard about for a while. It's I think it's of it as a classic Western. People, they talk about. Hadn't seen it. It's my first movie from the director, Sam Peckinpah.
Oh,
excuse me.
Mhm.
You can't say that.
It stars William Holden and Ernest Borgnine. And I didn't really love it, okay? And I'm starting to reevaluate maybe my relationship with Westerns.
Oh.
Is it me? If this is a classic Western and I give it 2 stars, is it me? Is there something wrong? Have I, how we all go through journeys in what we like about movies and we can change our star ratings. Has the Western fallen out of grace with me in some way? And I don't watch a ton of Westerns, so I feel like I'm not really sure. Is it just this movie or is it Westerns in general? So I'm doing some soul searching after this movie because, it has a 4.1 on Letterboxd. People tend to like it, but I just didn't really care for the directing. The story was just weird. There's a lot of odd plot points in this in terms of the decisions the characters make. It just struck me as pretty weird, and it's long. It's almost 2.5 hours long. So, it's a lot of cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Is this take from Proto on Westerns also going to be shared on a Twitter account, #BadMovieTakes? Did you talk about this?
Oh my God, we haven't talked about this.
On Twitter, folks are still using Twitter. There was a Twitter account, Frankie Land, August 13, #BadMovieTakes. Tom Berenger is not Marlon Brando, and the conflict between the soldiers was not working for me. The sound editing was noticeably uneven and often broke the most pivotal moments. And that's from Protolexis. So Proto getting called out for #BadMovieTakes on Twitter. Proto, how do you
That's
feel
for my
about that?
Platoon review. Yeah, my Platoon review. People didn't like it. I got called an effing bozo on there.
I think I DM'd you. I need to use that word more often. That's a great word, bozo.
It is great. Well, I thanked him for, recognizing my takes. It's not really if you have a good take or a bad take. It's important to have a good take or a bad take. Each one of them will be recognized in some way, and you got to take the good with the bad.
Mm-hmm.
So what a moment.
Proto, of the rest of your AFI journey, is there a movie that you're looking forward to still?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm saving a few.
Okay.
There's one that I'm saving for the end.
Oh.
Yeah. I think my last one I'll watch is Raging Bull, which I might have to wait until we just do it on the show because we've talked about doing it on the show.
Yeah, maybe hide the rating at the very least if you need to watch it.
Or maybe I
save
just
some
won't-
movies for us.
Maybe I just won't watch it until we do it. I'll just.
They
put
have
off the
that.
journey.
They have that 4K they just released too on Criterion.
Oh,
I've never seen Raging Bull either, so I've been wanting to hopefully find a time for the pod as well.
wow. I will say one last thing about this Twitter account call out.
Please.
#bozo. Spritz screenshotted your Halloween review as a potential #bad movie take. So maybe that'll get spotlighted in the future on that Twitter account.
Oh, what was so funny about that is after I was looking up Platoon again, and I saw that Platoon won an Oscar for sound editing, and I was beside myself because I was sure of how terrible the editing is in this. So I'm not sure what's going on over at the Oscars because it's definitely not me. It's definitely not me.
Speaking of Vietnam, I started listening to, based on Dale's recommendation on the Big Picture podcast, they're doing a narrative miniseries called Do We Get to Win This Time? And it's about Hollywood and the Vietnam War and how they grappled with it and started making movies about it, how actors responded to it. It's a great little miniseries. So highly recommended, folks. Give it a listen. It's the same producer that did the Siskel and Ebert limited narrative series from last year that I really liked. I probably mentioned it on the show, but it's pretty good so far. There's a lot of movies. I meant to look to see if anyone made a Letterboxd list of all the movies that he mentions, because some of them I've added to my watch list, believe it or not, just based on his descriptions of them. They sound pretty interesting. What about these Star Wars Visions you were watching, Proto? You're going back to the Star Wars Visions well. I saw.
Yeah. Yeah, I threw these on. I think it was like a Saturday morning sometime. Just, Visions. I finished season 2 when it came out. And I really loved some of these episodes. So I watched, did I watch 3 of them? It might have been no, I watched 3 of them. Yeah, 3 of my favorites, which was Journey to the Dark Head, Screecher's Reach, and In the Stars. I really loved those. And they're great to go back to. Every time I watch those, I just think of like Disney, just give one of these studios money to make a full length picture. Like I would love a full story from some of the stuff they're cooking up in these, because I just think they're so creative. They just expand the world of Star Wars, or just think of it from a totally different perspective that is so cool and engaging, and I love it. Just eat it up.
What if was Screecher's Reach the cartoon saloon one with the young Padawan? And
Screecher's Reach is where it's like the group of kids like on that mining world who go into the cave.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's I think that was my favorite one. What an ending! What a freaking ending! Yeesh. Let's say hello to some new patrons who joined this week. Kyle, Yearwood, Dan, and Anthony all joined this past week, got access to the VHS Village Discord, discounts on Danny's Beautiful Prince. What else? Has there been any watch-alongs recently? I think it might have been quiet on the watch-along front. I'm not sure what's happening here. People need to wake up. What's the next one? Also, I was going to call out, there's going to be a Philadelphia mini meetup happening.
Excuse me.
Just some Philly locals getting together soon. Not an official, like, big-time everybody meetup, but we might be going to see a movie. Maybe get some dinner. I'll be there.
Gosh. Dinner and a movie.
Yeah, dinner and a movie.
Lord have mercy.
Savvy in chat showing off that new 70mm Barbie hat.
Looks good, Savvy.
I need a new hat. Don't tell my wife that I said that. Every week, we also give out a free year of Letterboxd Patron. Gets rid of ads. Get a nice little backdrop stats on your page. I got to read this review here. Someone, dear friend of ours, watched Hook. 3 stars. The production design is obviously great. The cast is fun, especially the moment when you're like, hang on, is that David Crosby? And it's whimsical and fun without sacrificing on its more serious themes in that Spielberg way, but it feels overstuffed and a little too on the nose thematically. Danny may or may not agree with that review, but it's from Throwbridge. So Throwbridge has got a year of Letterboxd Patron. Tag your reviews 70mm pod if you want to be entered to win. Congratulations.
I don't agree with any review less than 5 stars.
On principle.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I watched The Pope's Exorcist.
Oh, I just saw that was streaming. Did you like it?
Yeah, it's streaming on Netflix in 4K. I give it 3 stars and a juicy heart.
Oh.
Russell Crowe plays literally the Pope's exorcist.
Does
Father
the Pope get
Amort?
Does the Pope get?
No. It's not literally like he doesn't exorcise the Pope, but that would be a pretty cool plot. I actually thought that was the plot of the movie. But he plays the chief exorcist of the Vatican, and he rides a little Vespa around. He's like an expert, and he comes upon this one family who has a exorcism needs. It's okay, but like I had fun watching it. I just want more. Like there's like this cool part where they're, almost like Indiana Jones style excavating parts underneath a house.
Excuse me.
With like old exorcist history from like hundreds of years ago. And they're like, reading old ass books with dust on them to try to like figure out more information about this demon. So I want more of these movies. And I think they're making a sequel. Give me more Russell Crowe vesping around fighting demons. What more do you want in a movie?
I thought that picture of Russell on the Vespa was like a Photoshop. I didn't know that was actually in the movie. I saw it circulating.
Let me see if I can find the original. Because I think there is a version of, there's a photo of Orson Welles riding a Vespa. And it's like in black and white, or maybe it's in color, but they look like identical. It looks just like Russell Crowe as a priest riding a Vespa. So if you want some goofy fun, fire up The Pope's Exorcist and believe.
Are you saying they should remake Citizen Kane with Russell Crowe?
Maybe. Some people are saying that. I wouldn't attach my name to it necessarily, but some are saying. All right, let's get into Hook. Steven Spielberg, Foggist. This is Danny's pick. We're going into our past one more time to see if this actually is one of Spielberg's best, or if Letterboxd is right and it's one of his maybe top 50 movies, as rated by Letterboxd members. Pardo, what's this movie about?
Peter Banning is obsessed with lawyering for Giant Big Jumbo Evil Corp. So much so that his kids and wife have begun to resent him. While visiting Grandma Wendy in England, Peter hopes to reconnect with his family. But when Peter returns from a charity dinner, he discovers that his children have been kidnapped by the pirate James Hook. You see, Peter Banning is Peter Pan, all grown up. He left Neverland and forgot who he was and where he came from. But in order to save his kids from his former arch nemesis, he must unlearn what he has learned and become Peter Pan once more. But does Peter still have it? Can he remember? Can he fly? Will his children accept him once again?
I always love that little scene where he's crawling around his little hut. Get ready for bed.
Grunting. For the long sleep.
God, miss you, Yoda. Love you. Pardo, what is your memories of Hook? Are they visceral like Danny's?
I would say so. I don't know when I first saw it, but this was definitely a clamshell VHS in the house that I saw many times. I just have fond memories of watching this with my siblings growing up. And it's, one of those movies that's kind of like just, I feel like burned into my brain of just these different scenes. And as I'm watching it, it just, like every scene, recognizing every moment of this movie. So it's definitely one of those for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first 35 minutes or so of this movie, I remember seeing at a young age. Like, I remember like being scary. It's got the Amblin stuff going on and all that. Like, I remember the toys too. Like the toy marketing, I think, is maybe lost on a lot of people today. But for people our age, I mean, there's a big toy campaign for Hook. Big.
I had Rufio's sword. Or I guess it's the Pan sword. I swung that thing around.
Like, I'm trying to think, what is the parallel now for movies like this? Is it still toys or is it something else? Like for younger people? I don't even know.
There's a lot of toys. When I go into every time we go into Target, we're going to the toy aisle. So I mean, like Jurassic World had a ton of toys.
Yeah. They're still there.
But are our kids going to say, "Oh, remember the Jurassic World toys? Remember those toys?"
I hope not.
Mikey P says it's Fortnite skins, and actually that could be true. Like the Fortnite skins are the modern day toys that we grew up with.
It's true.
Robux.
Interesting.
Yeah. This is a frightening thought that we all just came to.
We can cut this out of the show.
We don't need this thought out in the world. We might need to delete this episode. Danny, what about you?
I mean, yeah, this movie hit me hard as a kid. I want to have a memory that we saw it in theaters, but I can't pull it. I really wish we did. I know we were at least around at the time buying the toys and watching the VHS so much. I mean, it was around the time I was probably the same age as Jack's son, and I was playing so much Little League. So I just connected really hard with this film. But yeah, this was something we watched often. I know there were times when my sister and I we would just finish it and then rewind it in the rewinder that you have to like put in. It's not a part of the VHS. It's like shaped like a Chevy Bel Air.
Mm-hmm. The Batmobile.
And we rewind it and play it again. We'd watch it again. So yeah, this was one of those movies.
I mean, for half of our audience, you had to actually rewind your tapes when you were done watching them.
Yeah.
There's a physical reel inside the movie.
Watch again. Start over.
We always had it on the floor too, so we could just pop it in and use our foot to close the rewinder. And it was
yeah, we had like a black Chevy Bel. I think my mom still has it actually. And you'd push the license plate and it would pop open and you put the tape in.
Oh my God. When I used to work at West Coast Video, nobody ever rewound the tapes.
Be kind.
Pissed me off. We had to have like 3 rewinders going just like constantly.
Oh my gosh.
Burning up. There's like smoke coming out of those things.
Electricity bill.
I still can't get over anytime I bring up a video store, people got charged late fees, for returning a movie late. So like these ne'er-do-wells coming in weekends thinking they're going to rent, Sopranos season 2.
Disc 4.
Excuse me, you have a $50 late fee on your account, sir. You can't rent that until you pay that.
Can you imagine?
No.
Actually, maybe you can give some insight because I feel like whenever there was a new release, I never could get like a new release. Would people like come as soon as the store would open to get whatever movie had just come out?
Yeah. We'd put them out. I think we'd put them out at a certain, I think it was Tuesdays. Everything came out on Tuesdays. And then we'd put everything out. And if people like came, they would be pissed off because we wouldn't have it. You guys don't have any so-and-so behind the counter? Can you just check again for me? Can you check to see if you have that? We'd be like fishing through discs and be like, no, sorry, I don't have it. But different time. So when we talk about these movies, we'll jot some things down. We'll go round table style to discuss our viewing experience. So Danny, you pick this one. What's on the top of your mind for this viewing?
The top of my mind. Well, I would love to start talking about Robin Williams. And I think for me, this was probably my very first, introduction to Robin as an actor. And I love him so much in this film, and I think he carries the entire movie on his back because I don't know that I like every storyline from other characters as much as I like Peter Banning's. And I one thing that I love about about Robin, as I got older in life, I always remembered him as like a funny man, but he's not very funny in this. Everything kind of is comedic happening towards him, and his reactions are funny, and how he responds to things are funny, but he's not trying to be funny, and he doesn't come off as like trying too hard, and everything feels so natural for him. And I in this reviewing, I was just, I miss him so much. And then watching him in this, interacting with the kids, interacting with his wife, with Maggie as well as Wendy. He was just a magical actor. And he's definitely something that I feel like we don't have like a replica of him anymore. There's not someone that I can pinpoint that is like, this is like the next kind of Robin Williams. I feel like he has left like a void in movies.
Timothy Chalamet.
Okay. Cut the stream.
I'm sorry. I couldn't
resist. End this.
No, I agree. In this movie, he isn't like the in-your-face Robin Williams jokester. There's like a couple lines, like when he throws his phone at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And when he's riffing with Rufio. Like those are the only like 2 or 3 scenes where he's like, funny man, Robin Williams. And I love that. Like, I love that that's not the majority of the movie. He plays it like pretty straight because he is kind of like that nerdlinger for the majority of the movie. So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite Robin Williams performances for that reason. And I know that like later in life, he did have a lot more of those like dramatic roles, and I haven't rewatched them probably since I worked at that video store, but it might be time to go back to the well and watch some of those again.
Yeah, I love the scenes at the beginning of the movie of him being a dad, because I find them just so believable. And now, being a dad, I'm just relating to them and being like, oh yeah, that's me. Like when him sitting down in the airplane next to Jack, and Jack is banging the ball against the roof, and like just the way he shows like he's like immediately peeved off by him is just like so perfect. It's so believable. Like I don't even doubt it for a second. I think those movies, when he freaks out at the family, when he's on his phone, and then Mora throws the phone out the window is great as well. Like all those scenes work for me. I think he's brilliant in this. I love him to pieces.
That scene where he's on the phone, the $1 billion deal of his life.
Why didn't somebody just shoot me in the head? Bang! Bang! Will everybody just shut up?
I'm sorry.
And leave me alone for one moment more. Get him out of here, will you? I'm on the phone call of my life.
And he snaps at Jack. It's funny because I viscerally remember that as a kid thinking, my dad has done this to me. Like this is how my dad has responded to something I was doing at some point. And then watching it now, I'm like, oh, I've responded like this before to my own kids. Like it's reversed. Like I saw it as my father, and then I saw myself as the father watching it this time, which was kind of interesting.
I would have loved his wife to throw some support his way when he was on the phone call in that bedroom. Maybe read between the lines, get these kids out of the room. I know she hated the deal.
She wanted it tanked.
Or at least Robin, maybe take that phone call in the bathroom. Maybe another room. Maybe start meandering into a private closet that you can close the door on. A lot of things went wrong in that moment. A lot of things. Oh boy. I think this viewing, the first thing that that jumped to my mind was the plot itself. Like this feels like a pretty bonkers plot. Like Peter Pan grows up and forgets who he was and just like almost cuts off the entirety of Neverland. Like that feels crazy for this to be kind of like, what year is this? 1991? Like a major motion picture with a ton of money behind it, from Steven Spielberg. Like I just still blows my mind that this movie exists in any way, shape, or form in 1991. Like that he has to like go back and see the Lost Boys again, fight Hook, and just all that stuff. Like it does feel like a genius idea for like this entire cast and production to work on. I don't know. Proto, what did you think rewatching this?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And I wonder if this movie has influenced the Pan movies that have come after it. Because from time this came out, it feels like there's been 10 different Peter Pan movies.
In the last year, they've done 10 movies, I feel like.
And it seems like every one does something with this story to kind of try to set itself apart. Even the one with Jude Law that came out a few years ago. I won't spoil it, but it has like an element to the story that kind of was different than anything else. I was like, oh, this is kind of an interesting angle. So it seems like the Pan stories maybe always try to do this, unless there's some kind of like a lot of lore around Peter Pan that I don't know, because I've never read like the original story. But I think it's so brilliant that Peter Pan leaves Neverland, grows up, is a man, forgets about it, then has to come back as a man and like become the child that he was again. The whole set, and with his own kids, it's such a great setup. And then how it interacts with Hook too is brilliant.
One of the, I think one of the most wildest stories is that the original story of Hook, it was written by Nick Castle, which is, from Halloween, the guy that plays Michael Myers in The Mask. He wrote this screenplay originally, and he was set to direct it before Spielberg. And I don't remember why, but eventually Spielberg came in and took over. But he's still credited as one of the writers of this film. And it just like the fact that the guy from Halloween had this idea to tell practically a sequel to the Peter Pan story. What if Peter grew up? I thought was insane. And then even Spielberg's idea he originally wanted this to be a musical. And there's actually, I think him and John Williams, I think John wrote like 6 musical pieces to pitch for Hook to be a musical, and before even doing this as a regular movie.
I was going to say that Peter Pan Banning, he kind of looks like Spielberg at one point in this movie. Was wearing that hat.
The whole movie, he looks
Right?
like Spielberg.
Yeah.
What is happening here?
Even with the glasses. Yeah.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah. 100%.
Very strange.
Well, Spielberg loved the Peter Pan story. And I think it goes back to him reading the book. And I can't remember if he did a play of it as well. So I feel like he's always kind of wanted to either do a Peter Pan story, be Peter Pan. So I think maybe even having him look like Spielberg was probably a part of it as well.
Mm-hmm. Prado, what about you? What was the top of your mind when you were watching this?
Well, having not watched it in a while, so everyone, and I'm raising my hand now, raise your hand if you didn't know Hook was played by Dustin Hoffman.
I cannot believe this.
I really, I just haven't seen it in so long. And I mean, he's got a wig on, he's got a hat on, he's got a hook on. And if you asked me before I rewatch this, who plays Hook, I would have no idea.
Who would you have guessed, though? That's what's amazing to me.
I was thinking, I did say
Al Pacino.
There was somebody who I thought it would have been. I forget. I said it in Discord earlier this week, but I can't remember who it was. But God, he's so good in this. He is Captain Hook. He's so funny too. Like he's not just like menacing, but he's just got so much charisma as Hook in the way he deals with the pirates. I just love every second that he's on the screen. I kind of wish they played a little bit more into like the crocodile or alligator relationship, because I've always loved that side of Hook. But oh yeah, there it is. I thought I would have guessed Gary Oldman. But yeah, I love him in this.
Is it you, my great and worthy opponent? But it can't be. Not this pitiful, spineless, pasty, bloated codfish I see before me. You're not even a shadow of Peter Pan.
How about the scene where they're at the baseball game and he has the little glove on his hand?
Oh my gosh.
And he's like high-fiving people with the glove.
I love Dustin in this, and I think he's amazing. I find the Hook storyline, or the Captain Hook storyline, to be a bit thin, or it kind of loses its like self-tonally for me. I don't enjoy like it just kind of dips when he has to like trick the kids to like him, and it's only Jack that likes him. I get kind of bored of that storyline. And I don't know why. Maybe I know I didn't as a kid, but now I did. I was just kind of like, this is a bit of a boring. Right. And I don't even, maybe it's when they get to Neverland too. It just kind of tonally kind of takes a shift for me. But it's so weird because Dustin's incredible, but also I don't really like his storyline.
I mean, when they get to Neverland, it's like 35 minutes in, and there's still like I paused it. I was like, there's almost 2 hours left from when they get to Neverland. It's like a whole other movie. It's pretty crazy. And I think that's what like I saw in some Villager reviews, that it just felt like so long, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Dustin Hoffman is insane in this movie. Like absolutely insane. His little feet. He's walking down those steps.
His eyebrows.
He must have the smallest feet out of any actor we've covered on the show. I've never seen anything like it.
The bit where he gets Smee he forgets to put the carpet down and he taps the steps.
Yeah.
I don't know why that always makes me laugh. It's so funny.
The part where he's threatening to kill himself, but then he's telling Smee to stop him.
Smee, no, he's been there before.
Peter.
He's not even getting up.
Also, I mean, just his delivery, like Peter. Like all of that is just crazy stuff. Crazy.
Yeah, the moment when Peter reveals himself on the boat, and him and Smee are going over the documents, and he's got those little glasses on, and he's like looking at Peter. That whole interaction is incredible. Like all three of them are. Bob Hoskins is so funny as me, but him and Dustin and Robin together, it was really something else.
I always bring it up, but like the Amblin stuff. But tonally, you mentioned it, Pardo. Like it's fun and it's like they're doing goofy stuff, but then like Rufio like gets killed. You know, like in one scene later, like he stabs Rufio to death in one scene. So it's like this weird, I don't know, that it goes dark like really fast and then still tries to maintain some of that like fun aspect of it. I don't know if it like worked 100%. And I'd be interested to hear, like, I know that Spielberg has said that he does not love this movie. In one interview, it sounded like he said he didn't love it because he would have done the special effects differently. Like all computers, pretty much.
Steven, please.
Which I don't like. I don't understand why that's his main takeaway. Like you could probably fix 100 other different things, but in my opinion, like the special effects and like the sets are some of my favorite things. Like the ship where they first show Captain Hook and his cronies. Like that feels like the most obvious practical set in a movie I've ever seen. I can't remember. I think I watched the 4K of this.
Yeah.
And it's like obviously a set. Like there's mist behind the ship that could be just a gray wall for all I. There's
it
nothing.
Is a gray wall.
There's nothing behind the ship but a gray wall. And they don't even pretend to make it look like anything else. And I almost found that endearing in a way, all those sets. What did you think?
Oh, I got both feelings. It was funny because when you get to Neverland and you see literally the wall of this studio, I was wondering, is like, did we really need a 4K of this? Because I think I would never have in a million years. Like I know there's sets, but I wouldn't have looked at the sky and not been like, this is a wall. Like this, this is the studio wall. But one of the interviews I watched was with, they were talking about the making of, and that the building out of the whole pirate ship and the pirate town. And they said it was so expansive and how big it was that like celebrities were asking for day passes to be able to walk on the set to see it. Jeez. That's how incredible it was and how big it was. The Neverland tree with all the, like all of that is just there and building it. And it was just crazy. People were just dying just to see this set.
Yeah. The tree is awesome. The docks, I really love the docks. The amount of like detail that is there is just so cool. It's just amazing. Everything that went there. Yeah, and there's like shots at the end where they have the brawl, where it just feels so obvious, of course, that it's a set or whatever. But yeah, I am the same way. It was endearing to me more than like, oh, look, we're on a set. Like I didn't care. And maybe because it's whimsical and it has like that, kind of almost like that Amblin feel to it, that it gives me like a warm and fuzzy feeling more than like feeling that it was fake.
I'd love to see some like designer do a background in those scenes. Like, here's my portfolio piece for background design, production design, and they like put in a 3D backdrop behind the ship or something to make it look less like a gray wall or whatever.
I mean, what actually looked bad was Tinkerbell. So many of her scenes.
Her wig is an abomination.
I'm not even talking about the wig. I'm just talking about her being green screened into the movie. I couldn't get over how bad that still looked. And that had to have been because of 4K. I don't think I would have. I mean, maybe.
VHS, that looks amazing.
VHS,
that scene looks
perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. 4K, I was watching when she shakes the hook the image. It like her arm, it's like trying to match up the hand with the hook. I couldn't get over it. I'm like, this is incredibly bad. This is insane.
I will say the lighting on her first like appearance with Peter, I liked a lot.
Yeah, that scene's incredible.
That I wanted to see a making of, just how they lit that room with the light of Tinkerbell, running around and stuff.
I mean, them building out that entire Barbie house was incredible too. Mm-hmm. Like it's incredible stuff.
Yeah.
To me, that felt kind of the story. The Tinkerbell stuff felt kind of half-baked to me.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like it's kind of like thrown in there. where she's kind of like the bad guy in this, right?
She doesn't come out great for the majority of it. I can't remember if it was a Villager review or somewhere else. Someone theorized that like Tinkerbell is the one that alerted, or Tinkerbell is the one that set off everything into motion about the kids being kidnapped.
Yes, he says at the beginning that he has a signed affidavit from Tinkerbell that of like where the children are, or something like that.
Right.
So it's alluding to the idea that she gave it to Hook to get Peter back.
It's pretty harsh.
Yeah, she's something. Firefly from hell.
Yeah, she was extremely jealous. I remember one of my memories of this movie is like her, she gets all dressed up and makes her big pitch to Peter when she's wearing that gown and it doesn't work out for her.
Everybody raise your hand if you would have thought that Tinkerbell was played by Sandra Bullock.
No way. Are you serious?
I was like, why does she look like Julia Roberts?
This is some serious fog.
Oh my God. I'll say it again. The wig work in for her, I thought was just terrible. I thought it was one of the worst wigs ever. On Sandra or Julia, for that matter. Danny, what else is on your list?
I mean, should we get some of the Vigo kicking the helmet stuff out of the way?
Get it out of the way now.
Yes, Glenn Close is in this film. She gets tossed in the boo box. Phil Collins is the police inspector.
Why is Phil Collins in this movie? Like, was he vacationing with Spielberg or something at this point? Like, it's just so bizarre.
Phil always saw himself as Peter Pan, so he had to be in this movie. What else is... There was a falling out with Julia and Spielberg. She had like a bad breakup with Kiefer Sutherland at the time, and she apparently dipped off of set to go with a friend somewhere, and they were trying to recast her with Michelle Pfeiffer. All of these rumors. So there's just so much going around about that.
Yeah, I remember reading someone had asked Spielberg about that, and Spielberg just kind of like didn't have a very positive quote about like defending her, and it like hurt her feelings over the years.
Yeah.
Come on, Steven. Wake up. Let's see. What else is on my list? I'm going through my honorable mentions here. Imagine answering your cell phone at your child's play. Like you go right to jail.
Yeah. Straight to jail.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Imagine answering a cell phone call anywhere.
Seriously. If you're calling me, I anticipate someone dying or has died.
Yeah.
That is, if I answer the phone, that's what I'm expecting to hear. And if it's not that, then you should not have called me. The women at the office loving their little cell phone standoff as like faux guns. They were eating it up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Oh, what's that line they all say to him? Oh, the flapping your wings or whatever. Is that what they say to him?
Oh,
what if it's the pilot's time to go?
Geez. I think we had talked about this. Maybe this was in Apex, but one of my remember Vine, where you could film Vines?
Vines was the best.
6-second videos. One of the times I had watched this was during the time of Vine. And I remember this scene where Peter visits Wendy over the years, but he's like doing it so long that she's aged.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera is like, behind her from Peter's perspective. And she's like, oh, Peter, I'm so old. And she turns her head and Peter's hand like shakes in fear. It's one of the silliest things I've ever seen. I made a Vine of that. And it was just like that scene and me chuckling for the last half second. There's a lot of like weird scenes like that in this movie. I also wrote one line in my notes, quote, the wife orgasming in the house. When his wife visits Wendy's house and she's so excited in the house, she's like losing her mind about how excited she is in that house. She needed to go sit down for a bit.
Lord have mercy.
How about the wench who orgasms when she takes off Hook's hook? She's like twisted.
Timestamp, please.
The amount of orgasms in this all ages Hook movie it's off the charts. Boy, how about the heating bill in that house? Keeping that door open, that that attic door, whatever window that thing is. Cripes, it's winter. Paying out the ass. Pardo, what else you got?
I do have to say that there were 2 occasions where I started welling up in this movie, and I was not
Let's get into
prepared
it.
for that.
Let's get into
So
it.
I think one is the combination of the score. I love
Underrated
the
John
score in
Williams.
this. Yeah,
Yes.
there's some moments in the score that are just incredible and felt iconic when I heard it. I was like, oh my God, that this is the score. So and it has to do with like Peter trying to remember. So that scene when the kids are stolen and they come back and Toodles says to him like, you have to fly. You have to crow. And like when he says that, like I was like, God, like it just like it hit me. And I don't know if that's because if it's like nostalgia or it's just like brilliant directing and combination with the score and how it all just builds up. The editing. And then Rufio, where he says, you are the pan. Cheer it up.
Listen, a scene that makes me well up is the scene, the "There You Are, Peter" scene when he's looking at his face. I mean, Spielberg is so good at shooting those scenes, and there's so many moments in this movie where I'm like, I forget it's Spielberg because I don't really think it looks like him. There are the moments where I'm like, this is Spielberg at his like best, and that scene is. It has to be top tier Spielberg scenes for me. Like one of the best scenes. Robin just, sitting with this child and he's looking at his face, trying to find Peter again because Banning has lost his way. And the John Williams score in that moment, the kid finding Peter in Robin's face, it's just an incredible moment. It's an incredible moment in cinema.
About Hook's office or that like bedroom, whatever he had. That thing was awesome. I want to visit that set. Like all of this set would be so cool to visit.
That was the same as Walt's office in the Wonderful World of Disney.
Oh my God.
Walt kicked his desk and the bed came down.
Let's see what else I got here. Peter verbally assaulting a child, Rufio.
I mean, we've got to talk
Rufio.
about Dante Basco as Rufio. I mean, I wanted to be him so bad growing up. Rufio was like it. When he's introduced riding the skateboard sail down the track, it just so many moments with Rufio. The food fight scene is incredible. Them going back and forth with their insults that aren't even funny until you're kind of older. That Robin saying the nearsighted gynecologist is so funny to me. But Dante is so good in this film. I love him as Rufio. In his death scene this time around, I thought I didn't like, and I think it's because I think there's a better story to be told when, if they join together to defeat Hook, that Peter was always going to leave with his kids. A moment of him actually passing the sword back to Rufio to lead the Lost Boys again in Neverland, I thought would have been a all-time moment and maybe would have been a better ending. Because I don't know that I really like Rufio's death as much anymore as I did as a kid. Like as a kid, it was shocking to watch someone that you love so much die. But now I'm like, man, I think there was probably a better story to tell.
Right.
Yeah, it's such an odd choice to have him die.
Mm-hmm.
Hook standing there for like a full minute while Peter mourns him.
Idiot.
That whole scene, I was like, what is Hook doing
Mm-hmm.
in this entire moment? And he's just standing there doing nothing. How about Peter's blown out hair when he becomes Peter Pan again?
It's incredible. Wish I had that hair.
I didn't know that little kid's name was Thud Butt.
That butt.
What a name.
I actually don't think any of them had names until they got to set. And then one of the kids' names is Don't Ask. And I don't know why he was given that name. It was literally called Don't Ask, though.
I love when the sparks fly when their swords hit. That's pretty cool. Special effect. Came out really well.
The sparks flying every time Hook put his hook on.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
A hook that comes off, but he still slept with it with a cork on. I love that.
Why was Smee at the end of the movie, like in the real world?
That's a good question.
Was
Was it all real? Was it all fake?
I know. That's what I was thinking. Like, wait, are they still playing that angle or something else happening? I didn't quite get that. Pardo, anything else?
Well, I can give some honorable mentions.
Do it.
Let's see. I will always be shocked when I see Robin Williams' hairy hands.
Okay.
Now-
Oh, wait. Okay. So he has the super hairy hands, right? And then the scene where he launches on the slingshot, they've shaved his whole upper body. Had you noticed that? I noticed it this time because I know how hairy Robin's arms are.
Uh-huh.
And then when he was shirtless, they completely shaved his whole upper body. His arms are shaved. His chest is shaved. There's no hair on him anywhere.
Probably because it would have looked too horrifying
Like a
seeing
sweat.
his
Yeah,
hairy
he's wearing
body.
a sweater on.
Wow.
I just could. It just like shocked me this
Wolfman.
time. I'm like, I would never have noticed this.
I also didn't
right,
catch
yeah.
on this viewing that he was wearing kind of like a sort of fat suit for the majority.
Was he?
Yeah, like he's wearing like baggy. It's like he has little mini pillows under his white dress shirt for what looks like the majority of the movie until he starts his
What?
training. Yeah, I also was wondering if they like stretched the ratio of his scenes to make him look quote out of shape. Because they played that up a lot, but then after 3 days of training, he was like ready to go. Yeah, look at those scenes again when he's wearing like a white dress shirt. It's like weirdly baggy to make him look kind of like out of shape.
Watch it again.
Watch it again.
How about Smee using his earwax to twirl
Oh
Hook's
my
mustache?
God, so gross.
Their relationship. I need a documentary. I thought like the brawl at the end of the movie is maybe like one of the weaker parts of the movie. I just didn't love the action in that scene. But whatever. Them shooting the base runner and killing him.
That was fun.
Pretty funny. Oh, the kid becoming a bowling ball down the stairs is maybe like one of the craziest things
Mm-hmm.
in this
That was
movie.
Thudbutt.
Is that Thudbutt?
I think that's
Yeah.
Thudbutt.
I want that prop of him being a ball to still exist somewhere. I want to see it in real life.
It's probably like degraded like the old Ninja Turtles costumes where it's like falling apart and horrifying.
Regal Robot has to refurb it.
Yeah, I had fun coming back to this. Yeah, it is long, but I still think it's fun. I had a good time watching it. My kids watched the majority of it. I watched the whole thing. So I'm at 3 stars for Hook.
Oh, okay. 3-star. Peter.
That's your emperor voice.
They're both the same. Captain Hook and the Emperor. I thought the reveal at the end where the kids were like in their beds was super corny. Like, just show up for your mom. You don't have to pretend like you're asleep in bed.
We
Maybe
were almost killed in Neverland. Let's pretend.
That one almost felt like they were trying to be like too fairy tale-ish. Like if I'm reading that as a book, maybe that would make sense, you know, like the OG book. We haven't even talked about the Disney ride. Isn't the Peter Pan ride like your favorite ride ever?
I mean, yeah. Well, yes. Peter Pan, the Disney ride is my favorite, but also it's because Peter Pan, the cartoon, was my favorite growing up. So I think that's another big reason why I connect with this movie as well. I mean, I'm a huge Peter Pan fan. I've seen every version of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, the ride is incredible.
There was one scene I forgot to make a Giphy of, but it was there's a lot of like wire work with Peter
Mm-hmm.
flying. There was one that I just couldn't with. I think it was when like he flies up to his son, and I wrote it down. Oh, you know what it was? Oh yeah, he tells his son his happy moment. He's like, you know what it was? It was you. And he's like, and he turns awkwardly, like while being wire hung, and he like, can't quite see on the podcast, but just know that I turned awkwardly away from the camera. I'm torn between my rating because the fog is still like covering me. So I'm between like 3.5 stars and 4 stars. I'm not sure which I'm at right now. If I had to choose, I'd probably say 4. Because there are a lot of fun moments in this movie. I have a lot of great memories rewatching this. But today it does drag. It's long. Like I would cut out so much of this movie to make it zip a little bit more. But again, the practical sets and stuff, it's all amazing. Like this kind of a movie, like rewatching it, I think a lot of it, why we love it is just because they don't make them like this anymore. You know, that's like a hackneyed thing to say, but they're not making practical sets like this anymore.
No, definitely not. Everything's domed.
So I think that like that converts to like the enjoyment factor of this. Like, oh my God, this is like a real set. Like, holy crap. So that's my overall thoughts on this Hook rewatch.
Let me see. How about this movie ruining my perspective on how old Maggie Smith is ever?
Yeah, what?
Was she like 56 in this movie?
Oh my God.
The makeup on her,
Very
she was
strange.
like 60 something when she started as McGonagall in the Potter
Sheesh.
movies. I just couldn't get over it. I assumed my entire life that Maggie Smith has always been like 98 years old. But she has incredible makeup work in this.
How about
Like,
when
she
Maggie
looks so old?
Maggie lets young Peter kiss her sleeping granddaughter?
Hmm.
She should have been incarcerated.
Interesting thought.
It was a different time.
Gwyneth Paltrow's first big
yeah.
role. The imaginary food turning into a food fight is probably my favorite scene in the movie, I think, outside of There You Are, Peter. I love that entire idea of them imagining their food, Peter not being able to see it, but the cut where he flicks nothing, but you see it hit Rufio's face is always magical to me. Like, it's always magical. The look of that food, you couldn't eat that food. That food would kill you in a day.
Gross.
It's all Cool Whip.
It's all, yeah.
Foul.
The food coloring of that would kill you.
Vegan.
I'm at 5 stars.
Oh.
I'm sorry. The fog is always going to be there. I just have so much fun watching this film. I really do. I miss. I don't think George has seen it. He's 7. Maybe I'll wait a little bit longer to show him. I want him to love it. So it kind of scares me. I don't know. But yeah, I can't help it. I just love this film. I love Robin so much. He's magical in this film. Every scene he's in, he's just incredible. And John Williams' score is so underrated in this. It's just, it's insane. And I wish that, I mean, if people loved this more, I feel like it would get like more like behind the scenes release stuff. And I would love to know what he wrote as the 6 kind of musical numbers for this film. I would love to have seen or hear what he did for that, because I think the only 2 songs that made it were whatever the little girl sings as what Maggie sings as the lullaby, which was nominated for an Oscar. What? Oddly enough, which is insane to me. But, and there's a different one, but yeah. Anyway, 5 stars. I really wondered if it was going to dip for me, but it didn't.
No dipping here. Strike me down now, Peter.
That's the Emperor.
All right, we have some voicemails to get to. You can leave us something at 70mmpod@gmail.com. Everyone's under 90 seconds. Congratulations to everyone involved. Well played. This first one comes from Mikey P. Believe it or not. You know, they just covered Terms of Endearment on Movie Mixtape podcast.
Did you like that movie?
I love that movie. I give it 4.5 stars. And then as I'm like ready to fire up the Movie Mixtape podcast, I start seeing some reviews come in from Dirk Feelgood.
You fired it off.
God.
I was like, maybe I just Marcus played at this point after seeing what Dirk thought about that movie.
Interesting.
Felt sick.
Another L for Dirk.
Mikey crossing streams, I think, a little bit between tape deck related podcasts.
He sent this to the wrong podcast.
Let's see.
Bad
who else?
Spider's about to get a hook voicemail.
That would be hilarious. Next one comes from Yo Ev.
Hi. Hello. This is Evelyn, and I just wanted to call and say thank you so much for creating such a beautiful community. Yeah, everyone's just so darling and sweet and supportive. And I know they're strangers, but I love them so much, and I love you guys so much. And it's really beautiful what you've created, and I just wanted to say thank you. And also thank you, Dave and Josh, to remind me to send in my voicemail. August is awesome. My kids and I have been having a blast watching all those movies. And keep up the good work. And yeah, sincerely, thank you so much. My heart is overflowing. The community is so wonderful, and I love them all. And yeah, thank you so much. Okay, love you. Bye. How do I hang up?
See, no one makes phone calls anymore.
That's true. No one knows how to hang up a phone. No one knows that they should pick it up. Thank you, Ev. What a beautiful voicemail. It's only the community is only as good as the people that make up that community. So thank you. One more VM. Our old pal Orlandi. We haven't heard from Orlandi in a long time. Andy.
Hey, 70mm, it's Andy calling. Just wanted to drop in and share my thoughts super quick on tonight's episode, which is Hook. I really, really liked it this time around. This was the second time I've seen this movie. The first time I thought it was fine. This time I actually I bumped it up. I enjoyed it more, so I gave it a 4 this time. Yeah, really fun, charming movie. Definitely enjoyed it. But I also wanted to thank you for inspiring me. I am about to go on a journey between Proto, between you, Slim, and your podcast interview with a podcast vampire.
What about me?
I have decided to go through the entire filmography of Jim Carrey.
What?
I love Jim Carrey. I absolutely love Dumb and Dumber and Liar Liar and The Mask.
Lord have mercy.
And so, yeah, I love him. Yep. So I'm going to go on a journey and watch all of his movies, from earliest to the latest ones. And so, yeah, wish me luck. But I love you guys, and I can't wait to hear the episode.
Goodness gracious.
Dang.
How do you feel kicking off inspiration
Inspiring.
for that Jim Carrey journey?
It's a beautiful thing when someone sets off on a journey. Now, we all understand, Andy, not all journeys are meant to be completed. So if you hop off the train at one point and you just decide to stay there, that's fine too. I'm curious, how's he going to watch all these? Is he going to be buying some physical media, or is, what's his plan here?
Maybe he's got someone at the library, man or woman on the inside.
Yeah.
Everyone should have a disc dealer.
Does Florida have libraries?
Excuse me?
What has DeSantis done?
Half the shelves have been banned.
Ugh. Before we talk about next week's movie, big news regarding the Cage picks. Remember the Cage picks? We have interns that put forward their movies that they want to hear covered just for supporters. And Proto selects those movies, and then that's how we decide what supporter-only episodes to do. We will be doing Cage Picks live next week on this show. We have decided to up the ante. We're not doing just one Cage Pick either next week.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a whole thing.
Double
It's going to happen
feature.
live on the show. We're going to get on these supporter-only episodes. Proto, you're excited about this evolution, right?
I am. My my basement, the studio is under reconstruction, so unable to do it at the studio at the moment. So we're just gonna do it live on the air.
We'll do it live.
Do it freaking live. Next week we have a bonus week to close out Foggist, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We thought, wouldn't it be fun? You know?
Yeah.
I think it was an almost pick too, right? One of us almost picked this.
All three of us almost picked it.
Yeah.
2.2 average on Letterboxd right now.
Yes.
Doesn't get much better.
What could go wrong? We will be doing from 1998, Roland Emmerich. Roland's back, Godzilla. Quote, size does matter. This is the American version. This was going to set off everything. This was like the big blockbuster movie.
This is the Godzilla that started it all.
This is the Godzilla that started it all, or ended it all, really, in America for many years. Matthew Broderick, Jean Reno, back on the show for the first time since Leon, the Professional. God, when was that episode?
That was like 10 years ago.
And I think we saw that our Josh in our community is also covering this on Podzilla. So by the time this episode is out, I'll have a link in the episode notes to listen to Josh's podcast. They're a Godzilla focused pod. We're not the experts, so go to the experts to hear them talk about Godzilla 1998. You get us dullards talking about Godzilla next week.
Bozos.
We need to use that word a whole lot more, folks. I'm excited to rewatch this.
I've only ever seen it once. I'm very excited.
This was like the biggest thing ever. Remember Puff Daddy's music?
Oh my God.
With
How could you
Jimmy
forget?
Page?
How could you forget?
Remember that, Proto?
Dude, this movie is huge. This is an all-time favorite for my dad. Oh my gosh, I've seen it so many
What?
times. I can't wait. Yeah, this is another
my
all-timer for my
God.
dad.
Oh my gosh. I remember I had a friend who got like a new surround sound or something. And this is the first time I saw it. He had to show me his surround sound by showing me Godzilla. Couldn't get over it.
So this is going to be a rental. If you have a 4K capable TV, I'm pretty sure you can probably just go to Best Buy and get the disc for like $10 at this point for Godzilla
They'll give
4K.
it to you.
They might hand them out if you just show up at Best Buy. So that's next week to close out Foggist. I'm excited. Long time coming. You know?
Yeah. Let us know if you show up to Best Buy. Just
Take a
tell
selfie
him
with
70 millimeter sent you.
with your Best Buy employee, with your favorite Best Buy
Your
employee.
Geek Squad.
I used to work at Best Buy, and I remember getting yelled at for not wearing a belt. That was like part of the uniform. I was wearing khakis, but I didn't have a belt. My boss would like yell at me.
Goodness.
Yeah. Retail. Am I right? Pardo, any closing thoughts this week?
Yeah, this movie, Hook, it had me reflecting on, what it means to be a dad. What it means to be, a good father, and what your kids will remember about you. And today, I went to a funeral today for a dear friend Janet. Her father passed, and it was a beautiful service where her and her two siblings each got up and talked about their dad and all the memories they had about him and the great guy that he was, and just, what the things that they had to say about him and his character. And, that had me reflecting on, what will my kids say someday? But it's cool that something like that, where people are standing up and talking about their dad, you can have that same effect from a movie as well. And, kind of like a silly movie like this, Hook, about Peter Pan, but it had me, giving me the same thoughts and the same reflections, just, about my own kids and, I was once the kid, and like Danny was saying earlier, how, you see yourself as a kid, but now you see yourself as the father watching this. And I love movies for that reason. That's it.
Well said. We'll see everybody next week for Godzilla 1998. Get the $10 disc for free at Best Buy next week.
"70mm" is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large, Dale_A. Transcripts provided by Sophie Shin and music composed by Cinematric. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.